Oh my God, it's always such an adjustment when we have a guest and we're sitting next to each other.
I love it.
We're so not used to it.
I love yeah.
Season 2. Oh, should we do the intro first?
Season 2, episode 4. We have an amazing guest with us today.
So we're gonna we'll do the intro and then we'll bring on the guest.
Cool.
Sorry.
I
have like such a fear about forgetting to do the intro.
We are so excited. Hi.
Oh, what intro are you doing?
I'm doing something else.
What are you
I know what you're doing now. I'll go backwards and do what you're doing. Okay.
Well, were you introducing
I was going to intro Michelle and you wanted to intro the show, which seems like the first step. Okay.
Hi, I'm Hannah Derlander. We've really had a weird couple of hours. So
Nora Freed.
And you're listening to
High Heels and Punchlines. We are so excited today because we have an amazing guest. Our very dear friend, Michelle Chan Bennett, is here. And she is a fellow comic. And we've done some shows together. She's fucking amazing. Michelle, thank you so much for being here. One thing about Michelle, she's you could see her in Vulture and sketch and character teams at Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. She does a ton of character impressions that kill me. And a lot of her stuff is on Instagram, on Reels. And Michelle, you're just like hilarious. I love you.
Oh,
yeah. Welcome to the show.
You guys. I'm so happy to be here for a plethora of reasons.
I just burped in the mic. That was so gross.
I was whispering into the mic earlier, so we're a little bit of a mess.
Whenever we do like a back-to-back episode, we're always like a little weird
loopy
on like one of them, but now we have like a guest here, so it feels a little even.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I've been there. I appreciate it. I also want to say, because I was telling you, I listened to a few episodes. Like you both have amazing voices. Like you should Thank you. I don't know if you have agents or anything, but you should talk to them about doing voiceover.
Well, once we get those agents, that's going to be our first conversation.
I think your voice is great. I don't like my voice. I feel like mine is kind of like a little too. It's like monotone, but then also it sounds like
You think it's monotone?
Sometimes.
Oh no.
And then sometimes like Sorry. Anyways.
I don't think that way.
Yeah.
I don't think that way about your voice.
You know, that's just the way I hear it. But thank you
so
God, can't we just take a compliment? I'm
also, can we ever just like say thank you and next conversation? Everything has to have like a 5-minute debrief.
I love Hannah's voice. In fact, that is part of the reason why I asked her to do a podcast was I was like, I love your voice. And we were having such a great time talking. I was like, we're doing a podcast together. And here we are.
Nice. I love when people give me compliments on my speaking voice, and I do get it from time to time. But the stressful thing about it is I only have this voice because I have vocal blisters that I never got surgery on. I found out I had nodes in high school, and I was in advanced choir because I was really cool.
Advanced choir. That's why I was like in choir honors. Like I was like weighting my GPA with that.
It was like mortifying.
Wow. I was in the normal choir. Maybe I should stop singing.
In the normal choir as well. Okay. And then they were like, you should think about going pro.
Whoa.
I was like, and I will. And then it was audition. You have to audition to be in advanced choir every single year. And I was re-auditioning, and my teacher, Miss Voss, who you've met, was like, why can't you hit this note? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, are you sick or something? And I was like,
what was your voice part?
I was an alto.
Okay.
But then I was able to go one lower. And then I was the first female to be in the Connecticut Regional Choir.
Wow.
And compete as not a bass, that's too low, baritone.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
It was very cool, but I had to dress like a boy. They wouldn't let me wear a dress.
Wow. They wouldn't let you just be a baritone in a dress?
Wow,
I
that's
know.
crazy.
It's not like they made me like slick my hair back, so I was like, why can't I just also have a dress on up here?
Crazy to me.
But I felt really cool because I had this deeper voice and I was wearing my little pantsuit.
You should feel cool. That's
I was
the
like in high
thing
school.
I've ever heard.
Thank you. But that's why I'm like, people like my voice, but there's a day where I might, if I want a career in stand-up and podcasting, like need to have a surgery so I can keep talking because I lose my voice all the time.
Oh, wow.
And then we have no idea what my voice will sound like.
I'm excited
for that day.
Anyways, thank you so much for the compliment.
I really stepped on something there.
That was
like pulled a thread.
10 minutes. Anyway, season 2, episode 4. Let me do the highlights of the episode and the question, and then we'll all get into it. So this is, they shoot single people, don't they? And this is the episode. Carrie is the cover of the magazine of Single and Fabulous, ? I think we all know this cover. We all know this episode.
We put it on our Instagram.
Yes, we did. Miranda runs into Josh. Samantha spends time with a club owner who, in my opinion, I wrote looks half Jerry Seinfeld and half like Ben Stiller.
Wow,
And
amazing breakdown.
And Charlotte gets some work done in her apartment. And the big question that Carrie asks, is it better to fake it than to be alone?
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to ask Michelle was, have you faked it?
Well, I guess it depends on whose situation that we're faking.
And then I want to talk about not just faking it in bed. I'm also asking about like faking it like you're on a date and you're faking it, because that is really where I'm faking it sometimes. But yeah, have you ever faked it?
Yeah, I feel like constantly.
And what does that look like to you, if you want to dive into that?
In bed or on dates?
Yeah, in bed.
Currently, I don't fake anything in bed.
Okay, that's great.
That is, territory well trodden. I feel like that is one of like two relatable things in this episode. I feel like there are a lot of tracks that they were talking about in terms of faking it where I was like, that is like a step too far. And we can get into that, but I feel like definitely faking it in bed. I feel like, but I also think that I have, when I have sex, it's hard for me to stay like in my body and not get into my head for like a bunch of reasons. And so sometimes I'm a performer, baby. So it's like, I do think that putting on a little show helps me get into it a little bit.
And are you someone that once you see that people are liking your show, you can't stop?
Okay, for sure. Okay, wait, this is like a tangent, but can I talk? I don't want to derail in this in any way.
Derail. Get us off the rail.
I was like in a short film recently and I had to do like, not a love scene, but we had to like aggressively make out. And I wasn't attracted to my show partner and all, lovely guy, whatever, but like not, just not my type. And it was supposed to be like comical, like kind of like clumsy and stuff. But like afterward, I think I felt aroused, but it wasn't like it wasn't necessarily like in a pure physical sexual way, but it was literally because I think even though I got over the fear and the choreography of it and all of that, it was literally like I was cast in a part where I was considered hot and people like wanted to watch me do that, even if it was in a comedy setting. And that's what made me horny. You know what I mean? Like the weird like narcissism of that.
Yeah.
And I also do think that being not necessarily me and being another person helps me lock in. So like that's something sense. I think psychologically I might try out in bed, or maybe I'll try like role play or something. Yeah. Just because I do think like concentrating on a performance that's not me trying to like mitigate trauma or like or be thinking about my body and the way that my body looks. Yes. Yeah. And like I do think that faking it can be an avenue into not faking it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
No, I get it. It's like it's almost you're hyping yourself up.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you think of Miranda's faking it? Like that was too much?
That was so fun. I mean,
Miranda faking it in the beginning was like normal performance. Then at the end,
was
she was like, I can't keep doing this. And and the hands, I was like, what? There's no way that man was thinking like, got her. Like, I figured it out. Like, that was the most
stupid man.
That was the scariest
He's an eye doctor
I've ever seen.
Yes, and he was a physician as well.
Oh my God.
Crazy. You should know.
And when he was like, I'm a doctor, I know the woman's body. She was like, you're an eye doctor and you don't know the female body. I've never had an orgasm with you.
Yeah.
But also, I cannot believe this man saw her power walking in that vest, doing those arm things.
The arm thing was crazy.
And was like, call me Miranda. Like when she could not she was stop like this. With the arms, I was like, I rose Miranda on this.
I loved that scene.
Oh, I said, you're so, Nora, I wrote that you're so Charlotte with the stretching. Anytime I'm hanging out with Nora, even if it's not involved with working out, like if we're on the phone, she's doing the foam roller. If we just worked out, she's doing the stretches. Like Carrie and Miranda are like smoking and gabbing. And Charlotte is doing the most intense stretches behind them. I was like, That's Nora.
I'm double jointed, so I can't stop moving my body.
I love that.
And I need to stretch. And
she's stretching.
I'm always moving and I need to always be stretching. So
wait, do you fake it in bed? Sorry.
All right. It's gonna get really real here. All right. I have
what was it before?
I was performing.
She's been faking it.
No, and I don't know if this is a problem. I am an easy cummer.
Okay.
And so,
that's a brag.
It's
That's
sorry.
lucky.
God
That's
bless you.
And it's like, so I am, it really doesn't take much. And I'm always just, it's fine.
So you're not having I'm
not faking it. I'm always just kind of
what kind of noises? What kind of noises do you make?
This is so intense. I don't know if I can go into that, but I like literally.
For it to be,
I'm just like,
she's like, I don't fake it, and you're like, and what does that sound like?
Well, I'm just like,
it's not. No, it's just
curious,
like,
are you verbal or like
no? I just like
non-verbal?
I don't have a hard time like that in that situation ever, and it is like a lot of times like.
So everything you do also like sound, reaction, movement is also just fully authentic.
Usually, yeah. But
Wow.
but now, so it's actually a really terrible, I'm not going to call it a disease because it's right now you guys
You're
are
afflicted.
like,
You're very
I'm
much
afflicted
afflicted.
by this because it's hard for me to know who I actually like because I'm kind of like
'Cause you're
always
having that
always
all-
having a good time.
My goodness.
So I'm just
Wow.
like, so I'll be with someone and we'll have like a full night and they'll be kind of boring and shitty, but like I got off and like whatever. And this is,
This applies to, I listened to a podcast today where they interviewed a sex therapist and they said what most people don't know is that desire and arousal are like two different parts of the brain. And so you'll find a lot of times that someone is aroused for someone, but they're not like, they don't desire them, or someone won't desire someone so they can't get aroused because they're two separate parts. Like you'll be like, I love someone, why don't I want to have sex with them? But it's like, oh, you need to be aroused to just like, they're two separate parts. So it's probably you're easily aroused, but that's why you're conflicted. Like, why don't I like them? But you just don't desire them.
I usually like, I'm big at like, I'll have a whole night with someone and I'll be like so in it. And then the next day I'll be like, I hate you.
Oh.
And I'll be like, I don't like them. Like that's what I did with the
I don't know who you said, but we'll learn afterwards.
He's not gonna listen to this. I was dating this guy and it was that.
And you hate him now?
I didn't hate him. I just like I immediately was like, as soon as I got back from his apartment the next day, I was like, it was fine. And then the next morning I was like, I don't like him anymore. And then he kept texting me. And then I kept saying to Hannah, he's texting me so much. And you were like, weren't you like in his bed like the other night? And like you were like loving it. And I was like, I know, but now it's like really
different.
not the vibe. And he like won't stop texting me. So it was just it's an issue. Really glad I just told everyone that.
See,
hopefully my mom will listen to this.
I don't come easily. Like I'm in my head.
Yeah.
If something about me, I don't feel secure about that day, like I cannot get there, whatever. But I do think I fake it sound wise, even when I'm having it real wise, like I'm having an orgasm. I do find myself making sounds that like I don't need to make. But I think it gets me more into it. Like I have I'm never like, I feel like sometimes I'm like moaning and making sounds more than like, obviously if I was alone, because obviously I would not be like screaming.
Like, when you're alone, it's like lips
I can't.
sealed, pure concentration, brow,
right? Like so
just
quiet,
silent, like
just sitting there getting it done. And then someone's there and magically I have all this stuff to say. But I feel like I need to fake that part to get to the other part. Like it's really fake it till you make it.
I think we're the same girl. I feel that way. I definitely feel that way.
So in terms of who's that? Miranda's storyline. It sounds like none of us really fake it. We have moments of faking it, but none of us are actively sexually faking it.
I cannot fake it. One thing I cannot do faking wise is on a date, I can't fake it anymore. Like if we're not vibing, that's like, I cannot fake it. Ever since I stopped drinking, I was like, if it's not working, it's not gonna, like, I'm not gonna keep going. I had a 15-minute date the other, like it was like a month ago, but it was crazy.
You're the coolest person ever.
No, it was so, I wasn't cool. I felt like an asshole, but I sat down.
No, but it was like, what are you going to waste your time?
I don't know. I couldn't even finish my drink. I was like, I wasn't drinking. It was like non-alcoholic. I was just like, I can't. I looked at him. I was like, I'm really sorry, Jason. I'm sorry. Jesus.
Oh!
I'm sorry.
I think it's okay. Did you even get time to tell me you had a podcast?
Probably not. I don't even care.
So we don't listen.
Anyways, I was like, I can't. This is not. I think we're more friends. And he was like, oh my God. And he said, well, New York, and I was like, he's like, it moves fast. And I was like, it does. And I got to go right now.
And I have to go.
And then you're going to die at this.
Mm.
And then as I had to go, but I had my stuff everywhere.
So it probably took you forever to leave.
And I had to like slowly
This guy's devastated.
On, like, 5 sweaters. We were just talking moment. About like how I always have stuff everywhere. So I was like, I gotta go. And then I'm like, can you pass me my helmet? And I like,
oh my God.
The layers you have to put on before you bite.
And then I like dropped a light at one point and I was like,
poor
sorry.
Guy. I really was on board this story until that. Now I feel bad for him.
If I were to put a button on my progression, I would say when I was 18, when I first started having sex, I was performing for men. Because I was doing what I thought that they wanted, because that's what I had seen in porn. Mm-hmm. Or I was like, I just like thought that's what I was supposed to do. And it was embarrassing thinking about it. And now I still do fake it, but if I do, it's for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
To get my brain to a point of not faking.
That's great.
So I guess I've matured in some way.
I feel lucky that I masturbated so much before I ever hooked up with a guy.
Yeah.
And not obviously, but when I masturbated, like I never put something in my vagina. Like
obviously.
It was just obviously, but then I realized that's not obvious. It was like just on my clitoris. So I feel like the first time I hooked up with a guy and then he wasn't there, I was like, what? You're doing it all wrong. Mm-hmm. So I feel like from my early sexual experiences, I've been like advocating for the clitoris because I was like,
wow.
So like I feel like I never had the moment of like having sex and being like, wait, why isn't anything happening for me? Wow. Like because I had masturbated for so long before and was like, yeah, this is what feels good. I don't really even care about anything else. And I feel lucky about that because I have friends who tell me that they were like having sex for so long before they even ever like had someone like eat them out or finger them. And I was like, I was fingered for so long before I ever had sex. Let's think. I was fingered.
Let's think on this.
I was fingered for the first time, clitoris only, at 16. And then I didn't have sex, anything. I didn't have anything in my vagina. This was the medical thing that the woman sent me the picture of her baby about that I told you. I didn't have sex until I was 21.
See, we really go off topic.
Oh my God. No, it's not the topic. It's the fact that we came upon this medical condition in a conversation about fingering.
Yeah.
And then it was the same condition that a baby had.
Wait, that is kind of crazy.
Okay, so I'll tell you, but I won't tell you the whole story.
You can tell me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to force you.
No. It's okay. I talk about it all the time. I learned.
Wait, first I'm hearing of this.
I learned that I had 2 hymens and nothing could get in my vagina.
Yes, you told me this.
And it was why I couldn't put a tampon in. And my period was for 20 days because the blood needed to go through 2 layers of hymen. When you go to the doctor though, but you haven't had penetrated sex, like when you go to the gynecologist, they don't look at it. And so anything I was saying was like, oh, my period's long. They're like, oh, that happens. And I like, but I wasn't having sex. There was they were like, we don't need to look at it. Where if they had looked at it, we would have found this forever. And then whenever I told my mom, like, a tampon won't go in, she was like, you're really nervous. I was like, I'm really not. Like, I'm so chill about wearing this tampon. Like, I have a 20-day period. I cannot be just wearing pads.
Wow.
And then when I started hooking up with the guy I was dating, he like went to finger me and he was like, I'm hitting something. But at that point, I was so like anti-vagina that I was like, don't worry about it. Let's just stay up top. And so then I would go down on him and he would go down and finger me, but like nothing ever went in the vagina. And then in college, I went to have sex for the first time and he was like, I'm hitting a wall. And I was like, wow, push through it. And he was like, are you sure? And we could not push through it. But then it took forever to get, it was considered a cosmetic surgery. So they wouldn't remove it, like covered by insurance, took forever, whatever. The baby that this woman in the Philippines sent me a picture of.
Yeah, what?
There's a problem where you can be born with your hymen stuck to like your belly button.
Oh my God. Someone sent you a picture of this?
She sent me a picture of her baby's like fucked up belly button and was like, my daughter has like, it's called a perforated hymen, I think, when Anyway, she was like, please help, Hannah. And I was like, I can't. I was like, I don't know. And it's still in like my Facebook messages. This like baby.
Oh, God.
I wonder how old she is now.
That's intense.
Anyway, that is that on that.
I didn't think that I would spark the most clinical episode.
I know.
Well,
because
I'm assuming it's the most clinical
I
episode.
first started doing stand-up by telling the story, which I won't tell now only because like it is like 15 minutes of when I tried to lose my virginity. Because I didn't know I had 2 hymens. I literally thought that I was just so nervous that the thing was like locked shut.
Yeah.
And I just kind of am someone that likes community, and I just kind of made it like the night ended with me like naked in front of the people that I lived on the floor of my like dorm with, and someone else putting lube on my boyfriend's penis, and us all trying again in like to have sex. Like, and then it was like 5 people looking in my vagina, and they're like, oh, there's something in there.
Hannah,
and I was like, what? And they took a picture and you could see it. It was like shiny. And that was when I needed to go to the doctor. I was like, there's something in there. But then it was still 4 more years until I got it out.
That's so beautiful that you were able to be like naked and like vulnerable in that way.
Yeah,
I was like,
so nice.
I was ready to go. I was like, I'm going to have sex. I don't know why I was in a relationship for 4 years and I didn't have sex. I was like, the time is now. And then little did I know. Another 4.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Wow.
Anyway, this is a really iconic episode. So like,
I was going to say.
It's like the single and fabulous episode. Like, I can't believe how long I've talked about something other than that.
No. That's that. But I'm so glad you have the second hymen out.
I know. Can you believe 2?
That's crazy.
And my mom's religious.
So you ended up getting, I'm sorry. So you ended up getting it removed, or you just fucking plowed through that thing?
I had to get it removed.
Through the power of community.
They wanted, the doctors gave me a dilator set. And they wanted me to slowly break and stretch the hymens, but that I was also anemic, and so then I was losing so much blood doing that over time. They were like, "You have to stop." Like
a palate expander.
They just wanted me to like
the things we do to women.
And then the second I switched doctors, she was like, "What? I'll take it out tomorrow." And I was like,
"That is like
Dr. Richmond."
19th century, pull your teeth out because you have depression.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And I think that her goal was that I get it. You don't want someone to have surgery if you can avoid surgery. But I was like, let's really think about what we're asking of me. And it was like every night it was like a running joke. Like I had to go home. I had to leave events to go dilate. I had to leave events to go like stretch my vagina.
Oh my God.
And it's crazy. I'll show you guys off camera a different time. I had the smallest dilator.
I wasn't really sure what you were going to show.
The smallest dilator was like the size of like this finger, and I couldn't get it in.
Wow.
Like it wouldn't go in.
That's insane. That's far worse than I can imagine. I would have thought like an antiquated doctor would be like, I've signed you up for horseback riding lessons.
I would have loved
6 months and you'll be
that. Yeah. No, instead they were like, how about you bleed a little bit and slowly stretch it in your room by yourself every night? And I was like,
insane.
Sure.
Being a woman's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, noticing a trend in this episode where no, sorry, I didn't mean to go.
No, but that's why I was like, I shouldn't have told the story because now it's like so hard to pivot. But I want us to fully pivot.
No, I'm down to keep going on the hymen.
No.
Okay.
We have to do this episode justice.
Okay.
This is
this is an iconic. Fabulous. I can't believe you guys asked me to do this episode. I was like the single and fabulous.
This is like a big deal.
It's a big deal. Well, what's your favorite part of the episode, Michelle?
Wow.
Like what stands out to you?
My favorite part is Sarah Jessica Parker's fucking nipples when they're power walking.
It's amazing.
That was the hottest thing I've ever seen. Like that was truly Miranda's everything to me because she's
Miranda's
like that's me. Like if Nora is Charlotte stretching, I am doing that powerful arms like that. And then
Carrie, who supposedly has no bra on, or if she does,
no
it's
bra on,
so thin.
Tits,
do you think those were real?
Yeah, to me, she is perfect. Like she's just like she's the it.
Yeah.
Like it's like there.
You want to know something crazy?
What?
I was leaving nannying today, and I was talking with the mom I nanny for, and she was saying like SJP doesn't look good in the new series, but she goes, but Carrie was never the pretty one.
What?
Isn't that a shocking takeaway?
Well, I think if you want to, we're about to get like so misogynist right now. If you want to go facially, Kristen Davis is like on like I like stare at her.
Yeah, she is gorgeous.
She's gorgeous.
But I mean, Sarah SJP is just like the walking X Factor.
Right.
Like just like ballet, like fucking shredded.
Yeah.
Like she's so in control. Her
abs.
core strength.
Yeah.
But
and
then
like,
those tits,
the perfect
and then the beautiful
C-cups.
curly, naturally messy hair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I and also like I think she's pretty. I've never thought to myself like Carrie's not pretty.
Yeah, Charlotte's
That
like
was
the
like a shocking
waspy
takeaway.
Victorian beauty.
Yeah.
And then SJP is just like so she's like the whole package. And I think when I was younger, I was like, I don't think that she's that pretty. Part of that was probably resentment, but like now I'm like she's so interesting looking.
Yeah.
And then like I'm just so captivated every time she wears anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
so you like the nipples.
the nipples and the
thing.
thigh and the leggings on her legs.
I know.
It was just like
crazy.
ballet
It was
bought
unreal.
down.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
unreal.
crazy. And then she's trying to blast cigs. I'm like, I love
The
that.
6 was so it's funny.
This
I
episode
went,
was sig crazy.
It was sick crazy. And I also like yesterday I did a really long bike ride with my friend, and at the end we did 40 miles, which was kind of like a little
That's
excessive.
amazing.
Did you blast cigs at the
Whoa.
end?
Huh? Did I? Yeah.
Oh my, that's so cool. I know someone who ran the New York
Sorry.
Marathon, and then
And
their
then
mom
smoked
was
cigarettes.
And
waiting
then we
at the end
like
with a pack of
finally
cigarettes.
got to where we were going, and I was like, just like light up a cig. She's like, yeah, let's
You
do
earned it.
There's
You
not,
earned
no,
it.
there's not, there's, I mean, sorry
But it was
kids, but
just
there's
so,
really nothing
like-
quite like it.
It is really good. So when I was watching this, I was like, wow, okay. But I'm Charlotte with the stretching. Maybe stretching with the cig. I don't know.
Are you
you're a little
Charlotte?
bit of both.
Wait,
Yeah.
you guys didn't ask me.
No, yeah.
Who are you?
Who are you? And also, who is your favorite of the boyfriends?
Like, who do you want to end
Of
up with?
this
any
is huge.
boyfriend, of
We're
any
pivoting
or,
so hard
or
constantly.
husband.
But then we'll get right into single friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I always do big three. So I think that I'm Miranda Sun, Carrie Moon, Miranda Rising. I think at the
Okay.
end of the day, I'm Miranda because I'm a cynic and I'm like constantly asking myself if I'm capable of love, and I like am really hard on the men that I'm with.
Okay.
I'm like constantly like doubting things and analyzing things and like can be overly righteous.
So are you
and
looking for a Steve?
I think that I've had Steve's my whole life.
Wow.
I think, including now. I think that, and I will also say I'm a Miranda because when I gab with my friends about men and stuff, I'm always the one that's like, do not give up your power. Maintain your power at all points, to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To a fault where it's like I avoid vulnerability, and that's not always the healthiest option.
Mm-hmm.
But like I will say, like, if my friend, like, I'm like, don't text first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, absolutely withhold. And like, so I'm very much Miranda. I think I do think that Steve is my favorite of the guys, and I do think that my current boyfriend is a Steve.
Congrats.
But I thought and this speaks to my Carrie Moon, is that I think at the beginning he didn't mean to be, but he was a big, and I like to chase.
Okay. Okay.
I think there is a part of me that like wants to kind of feel bad about myself, and so like at the beginning of our relationship, I think if I told, and I told him this at one point, I was like, if I told any of my friends like how this has felt or what this experience has been like, they would all tell me to get out. And I got really lucky, and it was like the best case scenario where it was like he actually wasn't like that at all. He just wasn't thinking in a certain way. Like an example would be like the greatest humiliation of my life is that he would say, okay, like come over, and then he wouldn't be at his house, and I would like wait outside. And I was like, that's a humiliating. I was like, I cannot tolerate that. And I was like, and that makes it feel like you don't care if I'm sitting outside your house. And he like literally has time blindness. And we've been together for like 3 years, and he's stepped up in every way and is like very cognizant of time, but it actually is a huge struggle for him. And that just like punctuality for him wasn't the value that it was for me. And so like I felt like he was a big, because I was like, you know, if he wanted to, he would.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if he's just not that into you. So I wasn't putting that much time into whatever it was. But he was like very just like kind of like quietly persistent because he did really like me. And he just like, and we just were not communicating.
And that's like what counts down the line. Because like I think of like so many times the guy I'm with, we've been together for 2 years now. And like I'm so normal, like I'm so critical of him. I'm so hard on him. And like my expectations for him are like through the moon. And then I'm always being reminded like, he's just a person, like he's trying his best, whatever. But it's like, oh wait, what was I saying?
The things that matter down the line.
Things that matter down the line. I have so many times where I've said to guys the stuff I say to him, and guys are like, they don't give a shit and they don't change, and you just are like putting up with nothing. And it's like, if you can communicate to someone and they listen and they show up and they show you that they're working, like that long term is the person you want to be with. And that is so Steve. Like, Steve saw Miranda and told her like, okay, you got to chill a little bit, like here and there on stuff. But he also like, after making his mistakes, like he apologizes and he keeps showing up and he keeps trying. And like, I'm such like Steve has my heart. Like Steve is the best guy on the show. Like I love a Steve.
And I'm very goal oriented and very ambitious. And like, remember the episode when he wants to do the half court shot for the Knicks?
Yes.
And like her going to, so it's like, I
love that
oftentimes
episode.
I'm like, oh, whatever your word. He's also a comic, so sometimes I'm like, oh, you're gonna go to improv practice, babe. You know what I mean? And I like diminish what he does in my head, and like that, and because I'm naturally judgmental, like Miranda, and I think that like Steve and my current boyfriend are so ambitious and have these goals, but they just have to do it in their own way, and they have to like because Steve opens his own bar. And it stays open well into current times.
Yes.
That's so hard to do.
Right.
And so, but she was so critical of him, and he just wanted to be like, and she eventually did push him there, but he just needed to like take his own journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's, I think, like the perspective I need to take like in my partnership, where I'm just like, you just don't see the world the way that I do, but that's good.
That's
like, I need that. And so like, I'm very thankful for him because he pushes me to be less hard on myself. And like, I am less judgmental towards other people because I know him so well that it's like, he has challenged all of my judgments because he has stepped up in every single way that I've asked him to.
Wow.
And like, and
that's just amazing.
Yeah. And so like,
I know your boyfriend,
he's definitely
so
a
I'm
Steve.
like, this is great.
Aw.
Do I know him?
But I was thinking about.
I do?
Yeah, it's a comic.
Who is it?
Oh, his name's Justin Catchins.
I don't think I do.
Yeah, you've definitely seen him.
Really?
He's great.
Aw.
Yeah.
My boyfriend,
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's a comic too. Do you know Wolfgang Hunter?
No, I'm not in
See?
the, but here's the thing. I'm not in the stand-up scene. Justin's a stand-up.
Okay.
I'm not in the stand-up scene.
Wait,
I'm
but
more in the
Why
character
don't I know
scene.
Justin? Are you sure? I haven't seen him before.
And Justin's very out here. Justin's like very social.
Yeah.
But I obviously am not offended by that.
I don't
at
know
all.
him like well, but I've seen him do
Show me a
sets, and
photo
I've seen
after.
him at mics and
Yeah.
stuff.
He's
nice. Very
he's
nice.
around. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the kissing of the and / hooking up with the handyman.
Okay. What stood out to me about this was she just grabbed his shirt and kissed him. Do you have friends, male friends that you could, like, I've had friends that I've hooked up with and it like is like a 1 or 2 time thing and it's like, it's chill as heck.
Yeah.
But not something where I'm like, I know that this man will fuck me.
No,
And so
maybe
I'm just
when
gonna
you're
grab his
Charlotte,
shirt
you're
and
just
do
like,
it.
fuck it. Like, I can get anyone.
Any male friends I've had, if I'm about to kiss them, like I am like, anytime I've kissed a friend that is a guy and like we've been friends before and we've had a deal like this where they're like fixing stuff in my apartment, like I at least would have been like, do you feel this right now? Like there would have been like a conversation before. Like I would never just grab someone's shirt and assume that especially if they're a friend. If it's like some random hot guy fixing something in my apartment and I just go for it, there's nothing to lose. But I was like, Charlotte is so bold.
Yeah.
And like for no reason, like not to Charlotte, but like, I don't feel like this guy was worth it at all. I actually didn't like Charlotte's storyline for this episode.
I thought it was a little weird. I just don't know if I could fake a relationship like that.
Also, she's trying to build a relationship.
Yeah.
Just she had what she wanted. He was fixing the stuff in her apartment for free. Like, why would you mess with that?
Yeah.
If I had a guy who just did that for me, I don't think I would kiss him because I'd be like, I want to keep this up until he goes days days of our Mormon lives.
It is really crazy. And I'm not going to go into all the things with me being Charlotte because we do that a lot in the episodes, so the listeners know. But Michelle, we can talk about another time. But I've kissed my exterminator.
Okay,
and I just needed to do. It was really triggering seeing the handyman kiss.
How did it happen?
In a kind of similar way.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Really crazy. It was completely insane. I was like 24.
Okay.
And I had just moved into my apartment by myself and I was really stressed out. And my exterminator, I had mice, and he kept coming and he was like this guy from Queens. He's like a family business.
It was Steve.
Like,
cool.
Yeah, he just was like, he was very good at catching rodents and bugs and stuff.
You were impressed.
I was very impressed.
Oh, good.
And he kind of had this passion for it too, because it was a family business.
Yeah.
And so then he
That's
asked me
hot.
for my
That's
number, which
A
I thought
tradesman.
that was a little weird. He said, text me if the mice come back. So I was like, okay.
Cute.
But then he started sending me pictures of the rodents that he would catch around New York, like as like just like a hey, like. And so
like he was sending you pictures of dead mice.
He sent me a crazy picture of a possum once. He sent me a couple pictures of rats.
And this is before you kissed him.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, he was flirting.
Just getting the like story, the timeline down.
This is like, and I again aroused. I was like, this is hot. He like really likes what I love when people like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I love when people are passionate about what they do. And he was really helping me out. And we were really vibing and we were texting all the time. And then he kept coming to my house and to fix the thing. And then eventually we just kissed.
That's so cool. See, this is what
and that was it. And there wasn't anything further. It was just kind of like a funny thing.
What would he say when he would like send the dead possum?
He'd be like, Nora, he'd be like, he had a really thick New York accent. He'd be like, girl, like you have no idea what I like in the Bronx or like Queens or whatever. I'd be like, wow, that's a crazy. I mean, I'm like down for that. But yeah, it was a light kiss, and it was just like he was just
so
kind
shy.
of like it was just. I just really appreciated all of the help that he was giving. As soon as it happened, I was like, whoa, I need to really reel it in. Like, what is going on? But
what
it was
did he
Joe. It's Joe. I still have him in my phone.
Wow.
He's like Italian, like the family business.
It's
he had like
hot,
tattoos all
That is
over
hot.
him. He like
Also,
was really
there's
like
always going to be something hot about the working man.
yeah, he was like always down
like
to get into
construction
it.
workers, like there's just
and I
something
remember
about
telling my friends about it. We were having drinks later on, and I was like, yeah, so Joe was over, and I remember one of my friends was like, you're like texting him a lot for an exterminator. Like, do you really have like that many like issues in your house? I was like, no, I mean, I don't know. We're just kind of chatting. And I was like, guys, I kissed Joe today. It was kind of crazy. And all my friends were like, what the fuck? And Joe I wouldn't say he was like, he wasn't, it's not that he wasn't not hot. He was hot in a very much like, again, Italian kind of like
the working man
like
vibe?
Like tattoos and like a little chain, and I don't know.
He seems hot. That description
honestly,
is hot.
Joe was hot, and you know
you
what?
should like reach out.
Honestly, I'm sad that there are no more bugs or mice in my apartments.
Let's plant one.
But I have a crazy email thread with my landlord where at one point I'm like, I'll just contact Joe directly about this, and he's like, you don't need to keep contacting Joe directly. And I was like, it's okay, we're good.
You're like, don't worry.
And I'm like, don't worry about it. Joe and I chat.
I can text Joe whenever.
Yeah,
Direct to consumer.
Yeah, so I kind of get where Charlotte's coming from.
I mean, I can see someone like Charlotte getting that need met of like the manly man fixing stuff in my apartment. Like, okay, I'm gonna make that. I can see him now. He can be loving. He can take me out on dates. Like, he can be the whole image. I get where she was coming from.
Sometimes you just want someone to help.
We absolutely have to talk about that magazine if we're going to talk about it at all.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I didn't understand why she didn't understand that was what was happening. Because she didn't get any other shots.
No,
so it's like what the
unless
fuck?
there was something we missed, like I don't know what she thought they were gonna do in post to like be fixing that.
Okay, I will say this photographer was killing. This is like an iconic side character that was just like, when she's like, "Do you care if I smoke? I don't care if you shoot up.
I don't care if you shoot up, honey."
Takes a photo. But she 100% deserved this. Like,
oh really?
When there is a whole set of people waiting for your ass. And you can't be responsible enough to like show up. Like, do you know how many people are involved in a set like that?
I do, and I
New York
still
Magazine?
really disagree.
Well, no, go on.
I felt like this was awful. You get told as a 30-something that you're gonna be in a magazine about why you're validated in your life. Like you are gonna be single and fabulous, and you are gonna have your photo taken, and you're gonna look beautiful, and all the people that have ever made you feel bad for the way you're living your life, you're going to be in New York Magazine and they're going to feel like idiots. And then you see that you are the cover and you are hungover and you have bags under your eyes. And the whole article is now actually about how like they're judging your whole life. I was like,
I agree
sucks.
where they
like,
should
have
called her first.
I think she's the cover without knowing it in no glam.
I'm pretty sure, like journalistic integrity wise, yes, they should. Like they should have absolutely told her.
But I loved the line when she showed up late and he was like, "You're a fucking month late." Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, make her feel bad."
It kind of seemed like they did it like off of like it was just like a last minute. They were like, "We're gonna fuck you over."
Yeah.
Like they were like they actually were gonna.
I guess I'm like I didn't even think it was petty. I just thought that they were like, oh, this is the story.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like when you're gonna do profiles on someone, and then we're like, oh, this is the narrative because this bitch is a mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've convinced me. She didn't necessarily deserve it if it was petty,
but for
in
really
TV
bad.
world, I was like, get her.
I agree. It is really annoying when people are late.
And she also was giving such a vibe when she was like, "I never keep people waiting." She was like, "I just was out like so late last night." I was like, "Shut up! Like you're already." Yeah. I'm a firm believer that like once you've been late, shut up. Yeah, you've already wasted people's time. Just get to going. Like her, like even her smoking and asking Stanford for a coffee. I was like, no, like sit quietly and just like ask, like don't even ask about what they're doing, whatever. Like that regard of Carrie, I'm someone, if you show up late, you've already wasted our time. We do not also, now we have to hear while you're late. Like let's just get, especially in like a professional setting. But I really like, especially like at that time when like now if you're the cover of New York Magazine and it's like cringe, like truly like most people won't know, like you'll be fine. But at that time, like,
it was like,
oh my God, that's terrible. I felt awful.
If I were her, I would have been like, I would have said that it was on purpose. I would have been like, this is like edgy. I showed up like raw, no makeup.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in my column, like, cause in her column, I feel like she's pretty transparent. Like she admits all her faults and all this stuff. Like she's not like hiding anything. You know what I mean? She had she was naked on a bus with a dick drawn on her face.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of just like, I feel like I would have been like, yeah, like I was like hungover or whatever. And it's like, this is the shit we grapple with. And this is like raw and edgy.
This is
Even
one
if I
side
didn't
of it.
feel like that, my pride would have been like, oh yeah, we had an editorial discussion.
I took off my makeup. Yeah. No, that is what I wanted.
You would have looked at the magazine and been like, exactly what I was looking for.
Like,
perfect.
No one have their opinion.
That's exactly what I would have done. Question mark.
I feel like the worst thing that actually happened this episode was Samantha's storyline. It was so not Samantha. She gets, first things first, we never hear Samantha wanting a life of marriage and walking on the beach in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
So now to believe that Samantha got swept up in the wee of it all, and I get it, the whole storyline was supposed to be like the article kind of scared them all into thinking like maybe they need to change their lives. But like, I hate when Samantha's like power is diminished. Like even the episode before this, we were talking about like, she's like obsessed with like being older and how that's really offensive to her. And I'm like, Samantha should be the one who's like, I don't care. Like, I'm hot, I'm beautiful, I'm successful. Like, age doesn't matter. But then in this episode, she gets swept up in like the wee of it all. And then she gets stood up at dinner. And then not only that, she like spills her drink and is crying in her fur coat and like takes comfort in like kissing the busboy. I was like, this is too much. Like I just thought that was like a little too much off course for Samantha.
Yeah, it felt weird. I also
I
never
didn't like
I've
the
never met
busboy.
a Wii guy in my life.
No, yeah.
I've
Also,
met guys that love Nintendo Wii too much, but not guys that like promise anything like that.
I've never had a busboy wait outside the bathroom for me. Like,
That felt icky.
Isn't he busy?
That was a little crazy. But in the end, when they say sometimes it's better to go home alone than fake it, it really spoke to me recently. We literally were texting about that earlier today.
Well, yeah, because we were talking about this episode.
Oh my God, I have it's like dementia times 3,000.
You were like, that's so crazy that came up.
We talk about a lot of different things throughout
Well,
the
because
day.
Samantha had my favorite quote in this episode where she said in the beginning when they're all drinking, and I texted Nora, and it's where she says, you should go through life like I do, where like you just enjoy men, but you don't expect them to fill you up. And that's when you told me.
Okay, so it wasn't that line that sparked it, but it was kind of that line that sparked it. Okay. But I recently realized that I really do love being alone, and I do not need any man to like, if they are going to come into my life, it's going to be an ad. Whereas I did not feel that way from a big part of my life. I was always like, I need to find a boyfriend.
We're not taught.
Now I'm really
we're taught to feel like we need a man.
Yeah. And now I'm just kind of like, if it, it'll be nice, but I really have my own thing going on, and it needs to be like a little icing on the cake. And that spoke to me. And I was like, oh, this episode is so like relatable. And then in the end, when Carrie's sitting and she's like, what did she say? No books,
no armor,
no man, no friends, just me. And I was like, yes, like,
and I loved them all starting and ending.
It was just
single.
like beautiful. Yeah.
It was so good. And your text this morning was beautiful. You were like, I'm so happy with my life that like bringing anyone into it would just be a bonus.
I really don't want to bring anyone into my life who is going to be bad vibes, because I'm having a good time.
You have such good vibes.
I think that being single is so chic.
It is.
I don't think I'm a serial monogamist by any means, but I feel like I haven't had like long stretches of like adult consciousness where I've been single, and and I mean, there's no greater humiliation than being in a relationship with a man. And I've gone one step further, and he's a comic. You know what I mean? Like, it's humiliating. Meanwhile, Nora's over here telling these amazing, interesting stories about kissing her exterminator. I wish that was my life. Like, that's so cool.
I wouldn't say that's cool. That was
pretty cool.
In that moment when I kissed my exterminator, I would never have said what I just said. I was 24. I was like, I want a boyfriend. Oh, I need a man. I need my exterminator's here. I guess we'll make out. Like, like it's just like, he loves me, sending me all these possum pics. Like, it's just like, that was kind of like a whole thing. Now, am I kissing my exterminator? No. Do I even have rodents in my house? No. It's like 32. Now I'm like, I feel very like good, but it took a very long time. For all the women listening to this, it took me literally, I really feel like this happened in this over the last year. Like, I really haven't felt this peace until now. But yeah.
That's amazing. That makes me think of the line at the end when she was like, this would be the first time I slept with a man to validate my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was like, I'm getting out of the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a charmed life you've lived to not have to sleep with a man to validate yourself.
I thought that's what we're all
were you
doing.
Never a teen?
No, literally.
Bradley Cooper does not age, I guess.
He looks so good.
So fucking good.
Also, wait, when the two of them are making out at the place where Stanford was like, everyone is gay here.
Yeah.
And they fall on those like 3 gay men. Did you like clock like their reaction to it? They were acting like so hard with their faces of disgust at these 2 straight people kissing on them.
The Porsche with Bradley Cooper.
Drunk driving.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was really hot. He
was like,
do you want to take a ride in my Porsche? She's like in a blackout. She's like,
yeah. Also, like, I know that we're glad she got out of the car, but like, it really seemed like though he was cool about the cover.
He was like,
he seemed like excited to see her on the cover.
What would you do if someone did that?
Well, I think, like I said, I'm leaning into the lie that I made an
So you're
editorial
like, "That
decision
is
with
me,
the benefit.
bitch."
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it is. Actually, would you like to hear about the conversation we had when we made that editorial choice? I actually pitched the question mark. We weren't going to do that before. It was going to be an exclamation point.
It's going to be an exclamation
You know what I mean?
point.
So I start performing in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would have the conversation further probably because like, yeah, he was like drunk and obnoxious about it. But I also think that he could be like, that's really cool. Like at least the tone from it. Like
he seemed excited.
It didn't seem like a condemnation, but maybe that's me giving him the benefit of the doubt.
And we always give Bradley the benefit of the doubt because he's so hot. It's honestly, it's crazy.
And
He's
how
so
lucky is
hot.
Carrie? Literally the second, I know it's a TV show, but the second after Stanford is like, everyone's gay, she literally looks up and
Bradley Cooper's
walked
there.
in and only has eyes for her.
I
like,
also
how
will
lucky
say
are we?
there really is something special about bonding with a hot smoker.
Yeah.
Like if I'm outside a bar
Yes.
and there's a hot guy that I'm blasting a cig with, that's nothing better. Like especially now that I don't smoke. I guess I'm a smoker, I guess. I'm gonna lean into it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actively holding a jewel.
I didn't know we were like leading out.
I have a bit of a nicotine problem.
I you know what? I always say I'm not because I can hold a pack of cigs for like 3 weeks. But like, you know, I have this in my hand. Like it's just whatever. Anyways, I do have to say as a smoker, usually at a bar, to go outside and see someone else smoking and for them also to be hot, it's like, all right, we're gonna get married.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's
like,
a special connection there.
Or if they don't do like a whole face about it, or if I'm like on a date with someone and they're like, oh no, it's totally like I'll usually be like, I'm so sorry, can I smoke a cig? And then they're like, dude, of course, like, can I have one? And I'm like, oh yes, freedom.
Oh yeah. There's
so
nothing
nice.
better than that. It's honestly the validation and it's like the lack of shame or lack of judgment that is really hot about it, I think.
I hate when people are like, well, how much do you usually, they're like, no, I don't smoke, but how much do you usually smoke? It's like, okay, I don't drink. Come on, give me something.
Let her have something.
Let me have
treat.
one little fun thing.
You guys have your little drink.
Yeah, I get
Let her
my
have her little cigarette.
Exactly.
One time, Carrie and her magic cigarettes.
Exactly.
One time, my boyfriend and I got home after like we were out or whatever, and I put my hair up in a big messy bun, and I had gotten drunk enough to where I was like, I really need to blast a cig.
Mm-hmm.
So we were out. I had full beat, and then we were out in the backyard, and my hair was up in a bun, and I was blasting a cig, and he was like, "This is hot to me," and I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Because you're like really real."
Wow.
That's a nice compliment.
I was like, I'm a real girl.
Wow.
He's the one.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like I don't want someone who's encouraging me smoking necessarily, but I do want someone who's like, that's real. Be yourself. When you're ready, you're ready. Just keep it light, you know?
I think he just like gets that it's just like
You're
when I'm
real,
drunk, when I've
just
you know
like-
what I mean? When I'm drunk, it's like sometimes you just like want to blast.
Yeah, and he's like, that's
Yeah.
cool. Like you're just being yourself. Like I hate having to cover. You Carrie a lot of times she covers up for people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We with the whole Aiden thing, that's
With the
fast forward.
cigarettes.
But like I like the idea of just being able to be yourself. So
Right.
yeah, that was great.
Is there anything
Anyways.
else we want to say on this episode?
One thing, Carrie is like nailing Gen Z fashion right now in a way that like is
Which
so
outfit?
insane.
Which
The
one?
pink pants.
Yeah.
At the salsa
Oh
club.
my
I was
God.
like, wow, okay, Bushwick.
They all were so cute. I
Yeah.
loved them
It
all
was great.
dancing. Samantha rejecting the owner, like single girls'
Yeah.
nights. The shots looked huge. Those were like ginormous.
Those were
shot glasses.
giant shots. Also, Carrie grabbing the Hershey Kisses in the
There's-
morning in the bowl behind her bed.
yeah.
There's nothing.
And there was so much on her nightstand back there.
There is nothing more delicious and demoralizing than when these four women volume eat on this show.
Yeah.
When they are like housing Chinese or like they have like a huge family size pack of Hershey Kisses, I'm like, this fucking rocks because none of you eat like this because you look like you do.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to live in this world
But I'm
where you
happy
can
to
do
see
what
this.
you do.
I'm happy to live in this
and blast
fantasy.
cigs while working out and have your nipples and legs.
Someone
Like none
said
of it adds up.
there was like that meme that was like does anyone ever think about the fact that Carrie just smells like a pool hall? Like
Yes.
she really does. Like she's always smoking. She's
Always
like running
drinking,
around
and she's
taking
in
shots.
vintage
Her gorgeous apartment reeks.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
We're never seeing her crack a window beforehand.
No.
She's just
so
smoking.
demoralizing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It was really nice to see her as someone she's 32 and she's like has had a bender and she wakes up and she's like still, and it's like her going home with the light coming up sometimes. But like a couple weekends
With the
ago,
garbage man, that was cute.
she was like,
we all know that feeling when you're coming home late and you're crossing paths with the people that get up early.
And it's kind of reassuring. It's like, it's okay. You're in your early 30s, but you're still having a good time.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. We love that.
I was like, I felt connected to this episode because I feel like just the panic of it. And like, I know that I'm not in my 30s and like I'm in a relationship right now, but like truly when I had been single in New York, like I had not had anyone date me since I moved here. Like nobody, like I had seen people for a minute, but like, it was like, I was like, to see these girls be like in their 30s, figuring out their career, being single, like it just like calms the panic. And like, obviously I don't have the panic right now, but I was single in New York for like 8 years straight, having sex, not knowing what I was doing with my life. And it's just like, I know that it's not real, but it kind of is because of Candace Bushnell of it all. But like they're so comforting, like, you know, to like see them be like, it's fine. We have each other. We're gonna figure it out. And like, we know they're not real, but like they all do figure it out. Like the show is so comforting. Like just have your fun, have your friends. You'll figure it out. Like it's such a good message.
Yeah. We love the message. I think enjoy men, but don't expect them to fill
you
up.
Such good advice.
Great advice.
Because I feel like it's such a mistake people make where they expect their partner to be their everything. And then they keep failing you because nobody will ever be your everything. Like you need to fill yourself up.
Yes. And the other quote that I just wanted to, I know we're going over for a second, but the eye doctor saying, I'm no one's charity case. I run marathons, for Christ's sake. It's really funny.
That was so
just
funny.
Like really random and weird.
Also him, like, he's like, I can figure it out. I'm a doctor. No one should pity me. I run marathon, like, eye doctor. And
like,
you run marathons.
What does that have
like,
to do
what
with
does any of this
you
have
not
to
know?
do?
It's like, what?
But separately, he was so hot.
He's so hot.
That was a shame.
He had like a moment in the early 2000s. He was on a USA Characters Welcome show, Royal Pains or whatever.
Yes. That's what it was.
Yeah, he's
because he's a hunk.
Yeah, because he's a hunk.
He's really hot. All right.
Well, that was season 2, episode 4.
Mm-hmm. Michelle,
thank you
so much for coming.
What a
on.
delight! I feel like I derailed things and made this a chaotic episode.
No. Go and listen to season 1, episode 8 and 9. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay, I was on this medication.
No, not you. Us together.
Okay, no.
I'm sorry. That immediately being the response.
No, us together.
No,
we're like laughing and gabbing. No. Too much off topic.
I was on a migraine medication that made me a little loopy. I'm off of it now, so I'm totally on topic all the time now. Things have really changed. But the 8 and 9 are kind of like special episodes to us because it was when I was on like the peak amount of the migraine medication. It was really
Nurtec OTT?
Huh?
Nurtec OTT?
No, it was Topamax.
What?
Have you ever taken Topamax?
No.
It is, it like made me have like hardcore, like kind of made me drunk a little bit.
Just
like,
a little
kooky off, like a little off.
Okay, so you said you were double jointed, right?
Yeah.
Do you have ADHD?
I guess, yeah, you could maybe. I don't
just
know.
Because somebody told me it's like a comorbidity to have like flexible joints, like hyperflexible joints and ADHD. Like there's just a correlation there. There's no like causation or anything.
Yeah.
But people with ADHD tend to get more migraines, and it's because your joints are looser. There's more tension on your head because of like the way your posture is and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was just kidding. I was just curious because you had the migraines and you said you had the double joint. So I was just curious.
No, it does have to do. They did actually tell me the double jointed thing has to do with the migraines too, because I'm like, my jaw's all like crazy, but
That's so interesting.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, now I just have migraines. I'm off the Topamax, so
we need to try Nutricheck.
You're off the Topamax. You're on topic.
You're
very much afflicted.
Everything's fine. It's great. Anyways, but yeah, 8 and 9 are kind of wacky episodes. But anyways, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for being a guest. Shout out to My Friend's Basement Studio where we record. Shout out to Becky who does our clips for us and helps us run our show. And shout out to Sean Curley who's our intro and outro music. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Can I plug something?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know when this comes out, but my musical with Josh Nasser, also a stand-up comic.
Josh is hilarious.
We have a lounge jazz musical. It's going up at 54 Below
Oh my God, so
on June
exciting.
27th at 9:30 p.m. It's going to be a really great night. So please come out.
Wow. Wait, we're totally going to come.
Please
That's
do.
Great.
Yeah.
I love Bada Swing. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Bada Swing?
thank you so much. Yes, it's called our musical's called Bada Swing.
It is so.
Yeah.
I saw it at Caveat, and I was like crying laughing. It's so funny.
Oh, at Funderground?
I think it was Thunderground.
Yeah. No, please come. Yeah,
I love it.
The Funderground I was at?
No. That was a different one.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did I miss that?
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Michelle. You're
guys.
amazing. We
Thank
love you.
you.
Bye.